Yo, what's good, everybody? Keith from Always in Full Color, and today we're doing our Visions of Mana review on the PlayStation 5. I've been having a ball with this game, and for those who've been sticking around the channel, you know Secret of Mana was one of the first reviews ever posted to this channel, so it's very nice to take a trip down memory lane, and we're getting a brand new installment in about 15 years, I want to say, so this is an absolute treat for me. I really enjoyed this game. It took me a while to get to this review. I was on vacation, but also I just was having a great time with the game. So let me start breaking down the ins and outs and why I really enjoy this game. Starting with the visuals, as we always do. A lot of JRPGs, a lot of RPGs are in that kind of realism art style look, which is nice. So to me, this is a good change up and a good change of pace. It's not like the others. They're not kind of going that way. They're keeping that kind of cartoon look, if you will. And I like it. It's a nice change of pace. The one thing I will say I could tell that they struggled with at times were facial expressions. Some of the characters, when they were expressing a negative emotion, it seemed like it was like hard for them to try to get some characters to do it. Positive emotions, though, they seem to have a good job of getting those down pat. It's just those negative ones that at times the character looked happy despite looking sad. It was a weird thing that was occurring. But overall, though, the character models and everything about the character development themselves were very good. I was very happy with that. The atmosphere of the game, the biospheres that exist within the game, they're all unique. They all kind of stand out. And that was really nice to see that, you know, you had your typical things, you know, your snow area, your kind of beach area, your desert area. So those things exist like kind of like most other games do when they have these different biospheres. So it's very nice. The enemies all look really good too. A lot of old school enemies brought back, some with some change ups, and there are some new enemies added into the mix as well from the Mana series. So all very, very nice. I really love what they did visually and what they did artistically. So I'm very happy with what the team did in that regard. And piggybacking off of that facial expression thought, the sound team, the voice acting team did a really good job, but I do think that because of some of those facial expressions not landing so much, some of that voice acting kind of ends up getting lost in the sauce, if you will. They did a good job, but I think that it doesn't connect and land home in certain fronts. But overall, the voice acting team did a really good job. The only thing I really didn't care for was Karina's voice actor. And it's not that she did a bad job with the voice acting. I just didn't care that Karina's a dragon person and she had like this super southern drawl. It was just weird. I didn't really care for it a whole lot. Overall, like, she did a good job of, you know, delivering her lines. It was just that weird, like, dragon with the super southern twang. It just, I guess maybe I've just been conditioned in media to see like dragons as kind of like, they kind of speak with like a sense of like nobility, if you will, or like they seem royal, if you will. So it just was odd that they went this route, but definitely unique. Maybe some of you might like her voice actor. I don't know, but it's not that they did a bad job delivering lines. I think it's more of a ear thing for me at this point. Now I really want to jump into the meat of the game, which is the gameplay. The gameplay is absolutely fantastic. You have, you know, a light attack and then you have a special attack. So square is your light. You know, you can keep hitting square over and over and over again. You're gonna go in a loop at some point with your combo. You can add in triangle to do some different things. You can jump in the air and do triangle that executes different things. You have a bunch of moves that you can unlock through the plot expansion, which is basically like a skill tree. So the more elementals that you end up befriending, the more skills that you can unlock out of their specific elemental tree. So that's also very nice. That ends up opening up combo play, which I feel like can be expanded upon, but at base level, I think they did a really good job. These elemental vessels are so much fun. When you end up befriending the elemental, you pretty much get their vessel, if you will, which is an item that one allows you to change your class. So the character has no vessel equipped. They have a neutral class. Once they equip a vessel, then that will change their class to one of their classes that they have available to them. And when that happens, that ends up opening a bunch of more gameplay options for them. However, some of them, although you may love the vessel a whole lot and what that vessel does, you may not care for the class that it changes your character to. Personally, I don't care for Val with the spear and shield. I just would rather him to go, you know, just one sword style, but in order to do that, you would need to put on a certain item like Gnome, and I really don't care for Gnome's vessel. So there will be times where you're going to have to pick and choose kind of what you want to do, how you want to play this, which is absolutely fantastic to me because it gives you options. It gives you the ability to kind of strategize on what you want to play into. And some of the vessels that you may really like may not be suited for the enemies that you're fighting or the boss that you're going up against. Bringing that strategy element in, which I thought was really, really fun. This game does have difficulty settings. I would say on normal, you could pretty much do whatever you want. I don't think that you're really going to have a bad time with it. On hard, you may have to take some considerations in. So yeah, the Undine water vessel is amazing. That thing is a straight cannon, but if you're in an area where, you know, you're fighting nothing but ice enemies and whatnot, well, that water cannon may not, you know, be your best move. I love the Moon Elemental Vessel. That's probably like my favorite of them all. It's just a free stun. You could just put the Moon Elemental Vessel on the field. Anyone in that field's view will end up getting stunned, and they just sit there for you to just wail on. And you can buff up or debuff or whatever it is you want to do in that moment's time. If you need to heal up, it's a great option for one to heal. It does have so much versatility and utility for you that I think the Moon Vessel to me is like the one I always keep in rotation no matter what's happening. All in all, the combat is super fun. I really like it. I wish the camera play was just a little bit more stickier by way of like lock on. Like a lot of times it kind of like just lets you kind of maneuver the camera in that way. So while you're battling, you will have to maneuver the camera a bit. So I wish the camera did kind of snap just to like help you out in certain moments. There is no perfect parry system or anything like that, although some characters do have parry moves. But for the most part, this is a free roam action battle sequence game, so you kind of move around, you can dodge, you're not waiting for your turn. It's always your turn depending on how things are going. But don't be fooled, these enemies will take their turn if you're a little bit too aggressive with them, especially on hard mode, which I would recommend you play if you're very, very familiar and experienced with these types of games. If you're not, I would say normal is a really good way to play. Anything other than normal, I think probably would be too easy. It'd be too cakewalk for you. On normal, I wouldn't say that you had to level grind at all. On hard, you will have to level grind for a little bit. And you could change the difficulty setting at any point in the game, free of penalties. So feel free to change up whenever you feel like, hey, things are getting a little too easy. I do want to make it a little bit harder on myself. I do want to see if my build is really doing what I wanted to do. And that's just another beauty point of this game. You know, you can build into combat. You have different accessory slots, so you can really take those accessories that you're getting and slot them in and see what you want to do. If you want to go with a crit hit chance, if you just want to go with the MP, I just want to load up on MP to just spam magic attacks, whatever it is that you're trying to look to do, you can definitely accomplish it. And it's just very nice how they leave it very open-ended. I do wish that they expanded on just the base combos, that tapping square and the triangle for the special moves. I do wish there's a little bit more play in that. Karina's monk style or her fist style is one of my favorites by far by way of that. She does have some really good combo play. I thought Morley would probably have it, but I did end up leaning towards Karina in that department. So very nice that there is some combo play there, and you can kind of force combos, if you will. By that I mean, you know, you can go in for a combo, hit a magic attack, you know, keep you going with your combo, pop your magic vessel. There are ways to like combo yourself, I suppose, but there's no like clean like square pause, square is one combo, things of that nature. So overall, I think this is a very good base level, and I hope that in the sequel or the next installment they expand upon this combo system that they have going, because I really do think they have something nice going right here. Now, as I talked about these items that you're getting to slot in for your accessories, this game does an amazing job at making you want to travel. Number one, the ability to fast travel. They have points called meridians, so they're basically save points that you find, but you can fast travel between them all, and cities also act as a meridian themselves. At any point that you're just on the field, you can fast travel from meridian to meridian, and it is lightning quick, meaning any side quest you get, I mean, you can go do it and then you can fast travel back, and it's super quick, very fast. If you're fast traveling outside of like that area that you're in, so if you're in, I don't know, Legis Bay, and you're in Legis Bay doing stuff, and you need to get to, you know, Illistania, and you go into the city of Illistania, you know, it will be about like a 1 second, 2 second fast travel to that meridian, and then you walk into the city. Now, if you need to go back, let's say to the first city that you started in, Tiania, you're like, oh, I need to go back, there's someone I need to talk to. Fast traveling from Illistania to Tiania will take about 15 seconds. So again, you're still always in the pocket. None of the load times are extremely long, which is amazing. It makes doing those side quests, it kind of makes backtracking, because you will have to backtrack. Let me rephrase, you don't have to backtrack, but backtracking will be very, very advantageous to you, especially if you're looking to just 100% or collect everything or to get certain materials, because the game on the map has so many different points of interest labeled there for you, whether it be a treasure chest or whether it be a combat trial, or if it's a stone that gives you expansion points, which gives you basically their skill points. So whatever it is, the map has it already labeled for you. You don't have to go run around and figure out everything yourself. The map it tells you like, hey, here are the points. If you want to come collect this, come collect it. It's absolutely amazing in that front. And because of that, I never had to buy any items, and I rarely bought weapons and armor. The wild part is, in a lot of those points of interest, the game just throws money at you. So like, I just have so much money, but I don't spend it on anything really. I've spent some here and there, and the only material I really spent a lot of was the grizzly syrup, because the dud bears do offer like some really good items in there, some stat boosting items. So for that, I think the dud bear is amazing just to boost your personal stats. So that's the one thing, the one shop that I did spend a lot in. But also a lot of the grizzly syrups, it's a game to me. It's like a mini game to try to collect these grizzly syrups, because they're in like obscure places. Some of them are like just flat out right in the open, like you can't miss them. But some of them, it's like, hey, you need to kind of platform to get here. And to me, that's kind of like a fun little mini game. But again, traversal is super fun. You can fast travel super quickly to get from point A to point B. And really, I think that just encourages doing side quests, which there aren't a ton of, which is also nice because it kind of gets you right back in the story pocket. So I think they did a really good job with giving you like just enough side quests to do side quests. But at the same time, it's not so many that you're like, oh my God, I've just been doing side quests for like 2 hours and I haven't even touched the story. It's like, no, like you can probably knock out, you know, this town's side quest within, you know, 20 minutes, give or take, if you're just fast traveling and being effective. Now, if you get carried away and you find some mini bosses and stuff like that you want to take out along the way, then yeah, maybe it might, you know, extend to about 40 minutes. But that's if you get just kind of lost in the field and you start finding things that you're like, oh wow, I want to go do this, I want to go do this while I'm doing my side quest. So all in all, the game does a great job with its combat system, with its traversal system, its fast travel system. Its side quests, I feel like, do a good job at, you know, giving you something to do, but saying, hey, we need to get back to the story when the time presents itself. And the only other thing I do wish is that some of the dungeons were more robust. Some of the dungeons are cool, but some of them I just wish were more robust dungeons. And that's another area that I hope that they expand upon, is just making some bigger dungeons, some more meatier dungeons with like harder enemies and things of that nature, because nothing really felt like, oh my God, I'm in this dungeon and there's all these enemies and it's just so much going on here. I'm really trying to conserve my mana and all that. But the other thing that this game does do is they have these pots all around the maps, which they're health pots, which are green. You have mana pots, which are purple, and there are critical art pots, which are blue. So the critical art, every character has like an ultimate at their neutral level. With no vessel, they have one, and then when you equip a vessel, it changes. So that's also really dope that you have like these critical arts. But the map has these things all over the place, and it basically just encourages you to fight, travel, because you're not gonna have to really waste your healing items at all. You just break these pots open. They're free heals, it's free MP, it's free critical art. So it's like, yo, like have fun, have a blast, use every item at your disposal. You're gonna get it right back. And some of the moves themselves, the vessels themselves, once you unlock it in the expansion tree, they do have the ability to refund you MP. Honestly, the game is just like, hey, yo, like use your skills. Like you don't have to handcuff yourself at any point in the game. Like go crazy, like use your stuff. So I absolutely love the fact this game just throws items at you. It throws these pots at you and it just tells you to fight at your fullest potential. Don't worry about the resources. We're going to give it right back to you. Absolutely amazing touch. Now I want to finish off with the story, because the story is a story that you've seen before, you've heard before, you've been a part of before probably. Well, you probably haven't been a part of it, but you've seen the story, you heard the story before. However, they do a really good job at telling it, and I feel like that's the kind of key point here. It's not only do we do a good job at telling it, but we make things matter. A lot of games I've played lately are just like kind of super fast. They're just they just slack on those story elements, those story beats. And I think this game did a really good job at taking time to establish interpersonal connections between characters, between your party, and also kind of like give you the breakdown, the play-by-play of like what's really going on. You know, you have that typical 3-act going on here. So, you know, the rise, the fall, and the redemption type thing. So you have those 3 acts. and it's very typical. It's nothing that's gonna wow you or whatnot. Now, if you've never seen the story before, like if you're a kid and you've just never played this game before, which is a great startup game for any kid, I think it's the right amount of like dark, but not too dark. But mostly it's like 80% light, 20% dark. That's pretty much what the story is. For the most part, this story is super upbeat, and then it has like this 20% dark undertone, and it's a good think piece. I think this is one of those stories that's like a good, hey, like if you were in this situation, what do you think? And a lot of the antagonists within the game do say that to you, more so like, hey, use your brain, like I want you to think about this. And so then you begin to realize that the antagonists really aren't, like some of them are evil, but like some of them are more so like byproducts of the situation at hand, which I think is a very nice touch. I love villains like that personally. The villains who are not necessarily villains, but it's just because we're on opposing sides that you would mark me this way. But really, when you look at it, if roles were reversed, you would be right here with me. So overall, I really love what they did with the story, especially that character development and just establishing those bonds to make you love the party even more. Again, did I like Karina's voice actor? No, but also they did a really good job of establishing her character. She's headstrong, she's very stubborn, her tongue has no filter, she won't bite it for nothing, versus Morley, who's more reserved. Like you end up getting these beats from the individuals, and it was an absolute treat to just kind of see them execute it and do it so well. This was done at a very, very high level, and it's one of like the glowing spots of this game for me. All in all, you all, I love Visions of Mana. It's a great title. The only things I think they really need to work out are just those facial expressions, just getting those down, expanding that combo system. They have a very great base. I think they could do a little bit more and push that envelope. And lastly, just make some more dungeons feel more dungeon crawler. Just make some areas where it's like, yo, you really got to go hard. We're not going to give you so many heals. We're not going to put these pots around. We really want you to try to showcase that you've learned this battle system and that you can execute no matter what. If you have items, if you don't have items, if you have MP, if you don't have MP, show me that you can really, really finesse this battle system. I think those would be three great additions into the next sequence that they decide to pull off. But overall, this is a great startup JRPG for anybody who has kids. I think this would be a great JRPG. Definitely one to ask them, what do you think? Like, who do you think is right? Who do you think is wrong type deal. But man, this is an absolutely fun treat for me. Definitely a good break from Black Myth Wukong, which stressed me out. But definitely a great break from that. And it just was a nice, very fun time. Again, putting on hard isn't bad, especially just coming from Black Myth Wukong for me. Hard is not bad at all. You will have to level grind a little bit. But once you get to your classes and once you get to your builds, like honestly, you're going to start just nuking things, which is a great feeling. With that being said, thank you all for tuning into this one. As usual, hit that subscription button, that notification button to keep up with this. Peace, be easy, be blessed.